What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host that's curious about where you get your favorite mac and cheese from, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady with a couple bonuses from r/Today I Fudged Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called Filthy Factory Worker, Me, Mistaken for a Convenience Store Worker. So let's start off by saying filthy is an understatement. I work in a foundry that takes huge 2-ton slabs of aluminum and turns them into car parts. I do one part of the inspection where they get dipped in acid green goo that glows under a black light. I am covered in green goo, black marker, and tons of rust stains. Ripped up jeans and nasty steel-toe boots that look like they belong to the Swamp Thing. A very tattered gray hoodie, hair in shambles and falling from my messy bun. I probably also smell awful. I'm scent blind to that place now, but I remember it turning my stomach when I first started. The workers here wear black dress pants, nice quality black polos with the store logo neatly embroidered in bright yellow and large yellow name tags. I stopped by the store for some tape to wrap some more Christmas gifts. Texting with my husband as I sent him a picture of the single rolls of name brand tape that cost $2.95. How in the world? That's the price of convenience, I guess. As I'm snapping the picture, I heard a grunt and a loud throat clearing. I figure I was in the way and stand off to the side as I send the text. When I finish and look up, however, this smartly dressed, middle-aged bottle blonde lady is just glaring at me. Arms crossed, foot tapping. "You work here, right? You look like you work here." "No, I look like I work in a swamp. But it's a factory actually, thank you." I proceed to just walk away as my phone chirps in hand to let me know my husband had replied. I look and see he reminded me they probably have a holiday section. Maybe I could find some cheaper tape. So I wander about a bit looking. And yes, some off-brand tape for $1. I'll take 3. I grab them and turn around, nearly running into Karen. "Don't just walk away from me. Where is your manager? You're being very rude. I pay your paycheck. Your job is to help me. What kind of store lets employees play on their phones?" I'm actually laughing at this point, and not a fan of confrontation, I just shake my head and walk away, up to the register. She follows on my heels, mumbling and huffing. She shouted over my shoulder at the young girl on the register to get her manager immediately. Well, manager was just around the corner luckily and very quickly swooped in. "What can I help you ladies with today?" I guess since she was standing in my personal bubble, we looked to be shopping together. Karen lost it though. "It's just me. She won't help me. You need to write this lazy, rude girl up. She wouldn't help me." Screeching and whining like a toddler, manager, meanwhile, just looks baffled and asks for some clarity. Did she mean the girl behind the register or filthy, obviously not in dress code, me? Me, of course. I just took her attention being turned to the manager for the moment to have the cashier ring me up. Turned around and said, "Don't worry, lady. As of this moment, I quit. You win." She just stared after me, slack-jawed in rage and confusion. I was surprised she kept her hands to herself, but then again, I am filthy, so maybe not too surprised. So I'm curious, I'm wondering if entitled people just see worker, okay? They're just like, okay, that person's a worker, so they must work here. Kind of like how, people might say all people of a certain race might look identical. And so they're just like, "Hey, all you working peeps all look the same to me," they say at they say to a Wendy's employee who's at McDonald's on a lunch break. Funny. I don't know, that's just my interpretation of how stupid people are, but this story's called I Don't Work Here, Goose! Years ago, when I was working opening shift at a restaurant, most days going home as soon as everyone else was in. But I stayed a little later on weekends so I could work brunch. Other than opening, most of my job was making breakfast specials and brunch specials. My walk to work passed right by a local farmer's market so I could stop and pick up whatever was nice and put it on the restaurant tab. Sometimes I would order a bunch more stuff than I could carry and they would deliver afternoon when they were on their way home. So anyway, I had stopped at the market before work and got some nice farm fresh eggs, some fancy hand-rolled croissants, and big fat leeks. As I was walking down by the bay, a goose ran at me. I don't know where he was coming from, but I pulled my sacks out of his way and spun myself out of his path. The goose honked and dodged around me, then ran in the door of the restaurant that was open for early customers to be able to see they were open and had coffee. "Stop, goose! You can't just do whatever you want!" The goose, a big fat male goose, just ran right into the cafe and went to grab some baguettes they had leaning out towards the customers for easy grabbing, unfortunately also in range of the goose. The goose honked at me and then lunged for the baguettes. The goose grabbed a baguette just as I walked in the door and tried to wrangle the goose. "Hey there, goose, you can't take that bread! Drop that right now!" The goose bolted past me, dodging under my bag as it bolted back across the street towards the bay, where I assume it must have come from. Bewildered employee walks up to me. I shrug as the employee sees the goose running off down towards the beach, making good his escape. He was already making a defeated face when our shared moment was interrupted. A woman walks up to me, angry look on her face. "Why didn't you stop him? I needed to buy one of those." Admittedly, the baguettes the goose had not nabbed had been strewn across the ground, but I was a little disbelieving that she thought I should have been the one to stop the goose. "I'm sorry, lady, the goose was too fast. He was on a mission, it seems." "Well, what are you gonna do about it? You should give me a discount." "Whoa, I'm sorry that I'm not some sort of expert goose wrangler, but I can't give you a discount. I don't even work here, lady." "I don't think I can give you a discount. This was an act of goose. Sorry, but is there anything else I can help you with?" Angry lady completely ignoring the employees and getting angry with me. "Don't try to lie to me to get out of trouble. I saw you talking to the goose." Now very, very confused, I say. You saw me what? What are you talking about?" "Sorry, I don't have time for this. I have to go to work." I turned and walked quickly down the street. I could hear the lady shouting at me and the employee unsuccessfully trying to calm her. But as I turned the corner and popped in the door of my own restaurant, I was safe at last. I don't know if the lady ever got a baguette or a discount. I didn't see her again, so I have no way of knowing. Okay, so the entire time I was reading this story, I was just thinking of one thing, and that is Untitled Goose Game. I have not played it yet, but I will play it now, because the thoughts of playing as a goose and causing absolute mayhem hadn't sounded crazy appealing to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still thought it was cool, but now, that's just funny. Someone was playing Untitled Goose Game and got control of a real goose or something. That's funny. Crazy goose. This story's called Elder Lady is Really Nice About Needing Help. Happy Encounter. So I recently bought a membership to a bulk store club. Pick whichever one you want. It was like $20 for a year on Groupon. Great deal. So I'm browsing around, totally lost, pushing an oversized cart that doesn't have much in it. It's just my boyfriend and I at the house. I make impulsive online purchases, that I will admit to. Now, I cross paths with a 60 or 70-year-old lady while scouting the veggies. Pretty short woman, very grandmotherly. We make eye contact, so I bid her good morning with a smile. She gets really excited by that. Now, this isn't word for word because my memory isn't the best even for my age, but it all went something like this. "Good morning. Do you know if you have avocados here? I can't find them." I think they're technically a fruit, so they're probably over there by those grapes and apples. You should try looking over there. I look over to the fruit area, some maybe 15 feet away, and then back to the woman. She thinks for a minute and told me she thought they were a vegetable. I let her know with a laugh that since they have a seed, it makes them a fruit, just like tomatoes. I let her know it's weird, even for me. But she starts searching the immediate area with a concerned look. I abandon my search, for I forget what veg I was hoping to find and walk over to the fruits and find her the avocados. There's only one kind, so I just grab a bag and bring it back to the woman. I was in a pretty good mood, so I was feeling helpful. "Here you go. These are the only kinds they have, and it's whatever price." They were next to the strawberries over there. I hand her the bag, and she looks at them so happy. "Thank you so much. I was afraid I'd have to go to another store to make lunch. These are great. I'm making avocado toast for me and my husband. It's so good. You should really try it." We get deep into a conversation about different ways to make it and exchange our techniques. It's a trend I can get behind, even though it's pricey. Do you know where I can find breads? I'm running a little low, so I'll just get some while I'm here. Yeah, I saw them right over behind those shelves on the other side. You should pick up a loaf of sourdough bread. It's amazing with avocados. And I pointed her in the right direction. We chat a bit more, and I tell her to grab her husband and stop by a certain store affiliated with the free next-day shipping major shopping website, because their restaurant makes a bomb avocado toast with cream cheese and smoked salmon. Even gave her some wine suggestions to go with it. We parted ways, and I go check out their hair stuff. I stopped to look at some products when I noticed the lady followed me. She seemed surprised. There's the bread. This is shampoo. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is my first time here, so I'm seeing what this place has to offer. I saw the bread is in the next aisle over, though. Well, then you're just like me. I've never been here before either. Sorry about that. Well, have a good day. She makes her way back down with a big smile, and I kinda giggle because I don't really think she thought I worked there. Maybe she thought I was gonna take her to where she needed to be or something. She was really sweet though, but I gag at the thought of rye bread with anything. I hate it. Not even sorry. The encounter didn't make my day or anything. The bulk chocolate rolls did. It was still a pleasant encounter though. Hope you enjoyed my happy story. Well, that was very wholesome, and good on you for taking the time out of your day to talk to an elderly woman. Usually they appreciate the attention. Okay, I've personally never had avocado toast. I have, however, had it on a burger from Whataburger. It's pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever, but it was pretty good. I don't know what to say about this other than, what's your favorite sandwich bread? I'm curious. I really like, whole grain-y bread with like the seeds and stuff mixed in, and it's like more artisan-y, but not quite, you know, $15 a loaf or something. It's still like, you know, the cheaper stuff, but it's, I don't know. And they're usually smaller loaves, and the bread is like really spongy-ish, and it's got a texture to it, and then the little seeds in it. Oh my God, it's so good. It's funny. I just recently discovered butter with toast. I just recently discovered butter, really. I never actually ate butter on its own or as like the star condiment on bread. And honestly, I feel so stupid because it's amazing. Butter on toast? Butter is good. This story's called Today I Fudged Up by Accidentally Bribing a TSA Agent. So, for context of this story to understand how I even got in this situation, I recently finished my graduate degree at a university only about an hour away from the town where my parents live. After finishing, I got a job and moved a few hundred miles away, which meant my relationship with my girlfriend from grad school became long distance. So last Wednesday, I flew home for Thanksgiving, and naturally, being so close to my school, my girlfriend came up to my parents' home and visited. Yesterday, we drove her car to a breakfast place in the morning before she had to return to school. For whatever reason, I drove us back to my parents' house, during which my wallet fell in between the cracks of the driver's seat in my girlfriend's car, unbeknownst to me. Unfortunately, I didn't realize my wallet was missing until early this morning as I was preparing to head to the airport for my flight home. By the time I realized where it was far too late to go and get it. So I had to go to the airport without my wallet or license. Luckily, I had my passport with me. So I figured I'd just go to the airport anyways and have my girlfriend mail me my wallet later. Okay, so now we're all caught up. I put my jacket on and hop in the car as my dad offers to drive me to the airport. When he drops me off, he kindly hands me a $20 bill and says, "I know you don't have any money with you at the moment, so take this in case you need it." He's a great dad. The jacket I'm wearing has one of those breast zipper pockets, so I fold it up and zip it in there for safekeeping. As I get inside and walk over to the TSA security line, I take out my passport from my backpack and absent-mindedly unzip my breast pocket and slide the passport in for easy access. Once I get to the agent that checks both your boarding pass and ID before entering the security checkpoint, I unzip my pocket, pull out my passport, and confidently hand it to the lady sitting at her podium. After I scan my ticket, I don't pay too much attention as she inspects the passport, but I do notice she does a quick double take. She then says, "Oh," in a slightly confused sort of tone. Now, my passport is quite old, set to expire in early 2020, and I'm in need of renewing it. Consequently, the picture of me is of a much younger looking me. Therefore, I automatically assume she's worried about how close it is to expiring and the visual discrepancy between my photo ID and my real face. It is at this point that I decide to say to her, like an absolute goon, "I know I don't look like that anymore, but you can see the resemblance, right?" Of course, I was just trying to joke around a little bit, but her face went immediately from slightly confused to having none of it. She then asked, "Sir, is this you or not?" My heart jumped a bit and I replied, "Yes, it is." She then quickly looked around and, with a flustered look, shoved my passport back at me and said, "Here, just take it back." I took my ticket and the passport from her outstretched arm, still a bit perplexed, and said, "Thank you," then began approaching the checkpoint. It was only once I started to put my passport back that I saw with a mortifying realization that there was the $20 bill my dad had given me, neatly folded and sticking out of the main page of the closed passport in my hand. It was then it all became far too clear to me what I had just done. I looked back at the TSA agent that had screened me, who was still definitely staring at me incredulously. I was panicking at this point, and in a moment of terror, I lifted up my passport, still with the money in it, and waved it around like an idiot, loudly saying, "I didn't mean to!" She quickly turned around again and called up another passenger. I walked through the rest of TSA terrified I was about to be detained. I can relate to the whole not wanting to be detained thing. Because, I mean, I don't really look it, but my family is, half terrorist looking. But this poor guy accidentally tried to bribe a TSA agent. But I wouldn't take $20 as a serious bribe, but I'm sure people have tried with less. This story's called "Today I Fudged Up by Insulting a Chinese Man." I was having a meeting with a new vendor to buy test equipment for my company. I was called into the meeting to evaluate some prices, and I noticed we had our new hire shadowing one of our engineers in the meeting. I have not met him yet, but he was a tall white person in his mid-30s. The vendor was a Vietnamese woman with an accent but could be understood very easily. Everything was going well until the new guy spoke. He asked, "Can we get units at a lower frequency that would be cheaper?" Only he didn't say it like a white person. He said it with the strongest Chinese accent I have ever heard. Think the way Chinese people are portrayed on South Park. It was to the point that it seemed like he was insulting our vendor. Of course, the vendor didn't care and answered his question because she was trying to make a sale. After the meeting, I went up to him and asked what was up with the accent. He told me that is the way he always talks. Turns out, he was born and raised in China. Luckily, he was able to laugh it off because I was not the first person to question the way he talked. Okay guys, I know I always do accents, whenever there's one mentioned at least, but I really didn't want to sound offensive at all, and I feel like I did the right thing there. So, I mean, I don't think any of you guys care, but I was just pointing that out. I really wanted to do an accent, but I don't want to be offensive because I know any Chinese accent I do will be offensive. Anyways, it was a good thing the guy laughed it off. That's actually very interesting. I've never heard of like a white person just being raised in China and being raised to the point where he has a Chinese. That's actually just interesting. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.